All right. We are back. Hello, beautiful people. How's everybody doing today on this sweltering, seemingly 100+ degree day that literally took my breath away? All it took was one walk up and down Bay Street in Beaufort, and I thought I was going to pass out. But that is neither here nor there. As I sit here at an Islander HQ back in Bluffton, the air conditioner is working overtime today. It's not quite at the temperature level that I'm usually comfortable with, but I decided to give it a little bit of a break because it is every bit of 95+ degrees. I think it was like 115 or something with the heat index, which is crazy, but we live in South Carolina and it's hot down here. So I digress. I got to get out of the way. Right at the top, I am a walking, or in this particular moment, sitting contradiction with my CM Punk hat on and my Kenny Omega t-shirt. I am just still over the moon, absolutely gaga over my guy Punk winning the WWE Championship on Monday. And I just thought I had to mention that because we've been going through these sandwich videos with Enjoy Every Sandwich, and what did we land on today? After literally these things have been cranked out for over a month. We finally got through all, seemingly, I think, over 40 of them. And today I called it the main event. It was the Slider Bar Wagyu Italian beef hero that was served wet, that basically had all of Bluffton and the surrounding area, at least seemingly from my perspective, buzzing for a period of almost the month that we had the promotion part of the event going on, the promotional part, the competition, the contest. I'll be delivering Linda Cam her gift basket probably this Friday, I believe. I'm gathering the basket back from my friend Betsy McDaniel of WHHI and Coastal Curations. This is going to be a locally curated gift basket that's going to be chock full of gift cards and all this cool stuff that we got from the restaurants and food trucks and whatnot that participated in that. So, like I said, get that out of the way at the top of the hour. We had an amazing Chicago beef sandwich today. We had the delicate, delightful shrimp salad po' boy from the Laundry Diner that we dropped this morning. And like I said, I called Slider Bar the main event, if you will, but we may have another one for you because, I'm a big encore guy. So we may have another one coming your way tomorrow. If you paid attention to the soup tour, you probably know who that's going to be. So, but that being said, and then of course, like I said, I got my Kenny Omega because we got, Kenny Omega and MJF tonight for the AEW Championship, which should be a lot of fun. But I digress. From the sandwich tour, we're going to go into something today that's going to be really fun. And this is one that I've been working on for quite a few weeks, and also kind of became even more top of mind these last couple of weeks when we were doing recordings and things like that with Okatee River Farms right down here on 170. So I'm going to get right to it with today's guests. I have been eating a lot of sandwiches, as you guys know. I'm a big sandwich person. I don't have a catchy sandwich nickname for myself. Enjoy Every Sandwich, of course, was an homage to Warren Zevon, his famous words on Letterman when he was, on his, at least seemingly knowing that he was going to be leaving this world. And that's the crazy wise words that he left for the audience, which have always kind of stuck with me. I also make a lot of sandwiches at home. And yes, when I moved here, maybe I was getting, rolls and things like that from the bakery, say at like Publix or things like that. And sometimes, yes, just even, the stuff that you find in the aisles at the grocery store. But then something happened, and it has been a long time since I can remember having a sandwich, that I was not absolutely enamored with. And that is the result of a phenomenon that has kind of been coming on over this last couple of years, I would say. Not quite a couple of years, but this last, year or so of this explosion of sourdough baking and small businesses that are really doing an unbelievable job. And I am grateful and fortunate to have one of those local businesses here with me today. Without any further ado, excuse me, I have the Sour Loaf Co. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey,
good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, your names, give us a little bit of background on how this came about, because this has been become somewhat of a cottage industry in a relatively short period of time, specifically here in the Lowcountry, correct?
yes, for sure. I'll let you go first.
My name's Sean Shockley. This is my wife, Lindsay Shockley. And the Sour Loaf Co. was kind of her brainchild, I would say. And since then, it has exploded to the point where it is now both of us full time. And we are very, very grateful. Yeah.
No, we did not.
No. I was actually on my way to starting a carpentry business while she was trying to get this started. And with the heat, it seemed like a better idea for me to just go inside and enjoy that AC and play with dough and make bread than work out in the shop and do some carpentry work.
It's funny that you say that today, because this is probably the hottest day of the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we were talking off camera, and that's why I didn't mean to rush you guys right into this, but I figure I saved the good stuff for the program, if you will. So we had last week, we're at Okatee River Farms. We're recording some content with LaDonna and the family over there. It was absolutely slammed for 2 solid hours. There was a line from one end of the tent to the other. Some of the most beautiful produce. I shared a bunch of that. If you guys want to check out the Facebook page, I shared photos galore of produce. I was LaDonna was kind enough to send me home with a green tomato and a red tomato. Made an amazing sort of caprese salad with my wife's chicken cutlets with that the other night. And you guys have been posting up there. So you were there when I was recording last week, and I saw you from a distance when we were out in the cornfield and the eggplant field. And as soon as the thought went into my head, as soon as I go all the way around to the other side of this fence, I have to say hello. But I screwed myself up on Thursday because I sit in this chair at approximately noontime every Thursday. I do a wrestling podcast with a friend of mine up in New Jersey. That's he's an aspiring broadcaster, if you will, in that particular industry. And so he's asked me these last 4 weeks, actually. We did 4 episodes of this together, and he texts me to ask me if I'm ready on Thursday, and I'm standing there like just sweating profusely in the cornfield with LaDonna. I'm like, I'm gonna have to do a run-in on this one. So I had to run. I actually had to run. I didn't run out of there because I just had to run to my car so that I could sit and at least record the last half hour or so with him on my phone. So I messaged you guys to apologize that I missed you then. So then this week, because Sean said we want to make sure that we can that we give you a chance to try some more of our stuff, because I have been fortunate enough to enjoy some of it already. But I said, oh, perfect. I have to go out to Beaufort on Wednesday. They're going to be there. And then there's always that caveat, right? It says starts at 10 a.m. until sold out. When you're experienced with me with things like school pizza and Two Birds Greek street food and things like that, some of this food can be fleeting here in specifically in this Bluffton area. So I say all that to say, I got there, give or take, maybe shortly after noon, a couple minutes after noon, and you guys were long gone. So you basically sold out today in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we took more this week than we did the week before and the week before that. So it has just been a steady, how much can we get made for this?
So I want to focus on that, and then we're going to move on to a lot of good, tasty, yummy stuff, and I have some supporting documentation as always. This is kind of perfect when you said 7 o'clock, because I'm not on exactly the most regular schedule. My wife came back from a reef build with the Outside Foundation today. She runs South Carolina oyster recycling and oyster reef enhancement for the Outside Foundation. So she got back all pluff, muddy, and whatnot at like 11 o'clock today with the remnants of a box of Dunkin' Donuts. So I got a chocolate glazed and I got a star-shaped donut that had jelly or something like that in it. And then I'm on the road for, several hours, whatever. I'm accumulating certain assets, if you will. And I posted a couple photos of that at a crazy good fried chicken sandwich, chicken thigh sandwich from Sister Deli. If you guys haven't had a chance to check that out, highly recommend. The problem is that they have me standing there waiting for them to make, and I'm not saying it's taking a long time. It takes the perfect amount of time. They're a well-oiled machine over there, but any amount of time that allows me to feast my eyes on the breads and the cupcakes and the cookies. And then, as if that wasn't enough of a murderer's row, my next stop, or my last stop after a few more in town, like I said, I was downtown, was at Urban Market. And I didn't even know that there was a whole market aspect to that. And I want to come back to markets as well. But sometimes I get off the track, but don't worry, guys. I always find my way back. So when I went over there today, you guys had already, that was what I was going to say. Okay. See, I always come back to it. What was the time? Just takes me a little while. Sometimes what was the looking over the past several months or whatever the period of time was, what was the moment where, like you said, Sean, you were like, okay, now I'm going to change what I'm going to have to do here work-wise, because we're not going to be able to keep up with the demand. And as you've been referring to over these last couple of individual days, the volume has just increased. When was it when you guys had that moment where you looked at each other and said, oh, like, for lack of a better term, shit, like business is about to pick up, as my old buddy JR would say?
Honestly, I would say around the holiday time last year, around November, around Thanksgiving, we started really picking up, because we started, last May, so a year ago May.
Okay.
And, we've been trying to do some markets here and there and find where we just really want to be and really do well. And we've been trying to do a lot of pre-orders and stuff. So the pre-orders is, keeps us busy. And with the holiday pre-orders especially, it was like, oh, I opened my order for, however many amounts of loaves, not thinking I would sell out. And I think we sold out a pretty darn near everything.
Yeah.
And we were, rolling from before Thanksgiving all the way till New Year's. I think after New Year's, we took a couple of days off and went to Charleston and came back and just been going ever since. And it just, keeps rolling and keeps getting bigger and more fun and more people. So
you guys must be thrilled about the fact that you've been able to find something to do that you have a passion for, that you love. I'm truly grateful. I've had similar experience over the last, let's say, 6 months of my life. Excuse me. I've been doing this food stuff, whatever the heck you want to call it. I like to use the term advocacy for, over 5 years now, since before I moved here. And I was a frequent visitor and vacationer on Hilton Head. And I always had a specific fondness for the local restaurant, food and beverage industry. And then when I moved here, then it started to open up to food trucks and private chefs and different sort of things like that. And the podcast is wild, because I'm interviewing musicians, and I had an interior designer who just moved into my neighborhood recently a couple of months ago, my friend Jen. And because food is a universal language, and so that's kind of ultimately what it circles back to. But one of the really cool things has been small businesses like yourselves that are putting out a product that is a true labor of love. I'm not going to get into specifics, because we're here with you guys. We're here to promote the Sour Loaf company tonight. So without naming names, I will say that this is something that I would say my wife, not that I didn't see it on my feed and come across it, but my wife specifically came on to one of them probably over a year ago. Let's just say anywhere from 12 to 18 months ago. And that was like, okay, well, you can order on this day and just go pick it up right off their front porch or whatever. Okay. So, and I've talked about them before on the podcast, so it's not like I'm slighting them or anything, but I'm not going to mention any others specifically because there's other examples that I want to talk about as well. Both, private, if you in home, if you will, and then also more of a retail concept or situation. But we started doing this type of stuff, and we even also had a friend who, they had dabbled in some of those prepared meals, specifically the ones that are very, keto or whatever, the health needs are friendly for meal prep type of situations. Kind of like, Andrea and Nick and them doing down at Healthy Habit and do a great job with that stuff too. So there's some that have done it kind of like as a side, like just as a passion thing and keeping it small in numbers. Then there's some that have kind of done it as like a little bit of a side hustle where it's like, okay, if I do this, that's fine, but I have, other things that I'm doing. And then there's a few fortunate like you guys, not without a tremendous amount of hard work, because I can only imagine especially from the business perspective, you guys, and just like I have with an LLC for my entity now, I'm doing things and I'm having conversations and having tasks that are coming up and that I have never come across, whether it was with 20 years in the mortgage industry or, whatever, in other various businesses and industries. It really is, it's remarkable with what you've been able to accomplish, like you said, in barely just over a year, and to the point now where it's really kind of caught and you guys have momentum. So I want to talk about how you've been able to achieve that momentum. And you mentioned part of your strategy and part of your business approach is identifying opportunities where you can sell your product. So we mentioned one of those. That's a farmer's market at Okatee River Farms. Like I said, with my friend LaDonna and her family over there, that this is a farm that has gone through 6 generations. And not only do they have all this amazing produce, but I see key lime pies in the fridge and I see berries and I see whatever. I'll put it to you this way, guys, and I'm not here to wax poetic or, shine apples and whatever. I tell it like it is. I do not do negativity. So if I don't have something positive to say, I'm not going to say it. But I had both ends of the spectrum. I wasn't like I was uber disappointed when I missed you guys, because I've had your food and I will continue to order and enjoy your stuff. I think my wife ordered one within a couple of weeks ago that we were using for sandwiches and the stuff that we were doing. It's excellent. But I went into the barn, I said hello, and she's, it's hot, like we said, as you know what, out there. And she's over there, and I said, I missed them already, didn't I? And she said, yeah, they were pretty much like gone, they've been gone for quite a bit now. Like they sold quick. But she had 3 bags with her. And I was like, okay, let's grab those bags. We'll bring them out. She put them, on the table by the tomatoes or whatever. I took a couple of the quick pictures. Right. So, and I was particularly, and I didn't want to, obviously, I'm sure who knows, she may be enjoying some of it now, but the one in particular, and I don't know why I'm not doing this, I got it right here at my fingertips, was this caramelized onion sesame. And so I looked at and I'm just I'm focused because I got to go where I got to go, and I took a couple of the photos or whatever. So I made that observation, and I was like, man, if I didn't have 3/4 of a loaf of something else that I purchased as for my wife to surprise her when she got back last week after her birthday, I was like, oh, look, I got this great. I think it was like a Kalamata olive bread or something like that. But I think LaDonna had every intentions of enjoying this one. The cookies, she says, you need to try one of these before she let me walk away. Right. So she opens up this bag of, I got it right here, the strawberry shortcake cookies. And I reached my hand in, and I was like, and I was being generous. Like, again, I had a couple donuts. Like, I'm not super hungry. I reach in and I pull out what was about a half a strawberry shortcake cookie. And I'm loud. This is part of the deal, right? Talking on the microphone all the time. So I'm walking away, and I'm clear across the other side of the parking lot. And did you guys ever watch Wedding Crashers?
Oh yeah.
When they're in the kitchen there, and he's like, he's they're getting into the whole thing, and he's like, give me the syrup as a topper, and he sits down in the chair and he says, I love you. He says, yeah, you big guy. And Vince Vaughn's like, oh, cool. I literally, I'm like turned around the parking lot yelling to LaDonna. She's already back in the barn. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I literally yelled, holy shit, this is good. And she's laughing and whatever. And she's like, I told you, whatever. And this is literally like a bite. So I'm on the, the gravelly road back out to the big Oaks to get back onto 170. And I'm like, man, I'm going to enjoy this strawberry shortcake taste in my mouth all the way to Beaufort, to my first destination. That's the other thing. These are not just, and now I want to get into the details here. So these are not just these, for lack of a better term, what do they call this? This is like a boule, like is that what they call this shape of the bread, right?
Yeah,
it's not just bread like this. You guys have cookies. The other one that she had left there was these cheddar and chive muffins. Again, something that I've been thinking about pretty much all day since I saw it. Did it start with like just the bread, or like explain to me really kind of like the overall process? Because you said it's been about a year and you started off with smaller batches and things like that. But at what point did it start to branch off into all of this crazy stuff?
I think all the crazy stuff has already been there. So it's definitely more of a refinement.
Got it.
I spent 10 years as a paramedic in North Carolina before we moved down here.
Sure.
And, living that kind of life, you got a lot of stress you got to work through. So I got into, I had gotten a sourdough starter. I was like, well, this seems like something that could keep my attention for a little while. Sounds fun, whatever. So I got my first starter and just started experimenting with it and playing. And hey, what if I put this flavor into this dough, or whatever? It's an endless amount of creativity you could have there. And as we've been selling, and I've been realizing, what our community likes, what they don't like, what they'll try, and what, sounds a little too adventurous. It's been really fun to do the flavors and all the special items like that, because being able to change the menu with the seasons is just fun, and it keeps everybody kind of, on their toes. And plus the fact that we get to use fresh produce. I mean, that's where most of it comes from. Like the caramelized onion and sesame loaf. I saw the onions sitting, out in the basket at LaDonna's, and I was like, no, I'm going to use those. So
that's really interesting. So I was going to say, my first observation was, this is kind of a dynamic, ongoing case study as we go from destination to destination, where you're basically, and again, I have a weird, sometimes I have a weird, let's call it a pro wrestling brain. On a wrestling program, they try things in front of audiences sometimes that are not on television. And just in general, they're not always going to listen to what the fans are saying. But in a lot of, specifically in the food and beverage industry, that is the opportunity to experiment with things and say, let's let people try this and let's see like what the response is to it. So what you're doing is you're saying, okay, let me try this. This sounds like a cool idea. Let me try it. And then if you go to say this one farmer's market at Okeechobee River Farms, and maybe that one isn't as sought after as the other ones, then you kind of like, move on the fly along with it. And it takes you in certain. So that was my first observation. But what hadn't really occurred to me was, not only are these destinations and these opportunities that you guys have to have your product in front of an audience of ready and willing customers, you're also, in certain instances, the location of this particular sales opportunity is also giving you like research and development ammunition, if you will, for or lack of a better term,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
probably not the best timing to be talking about. I know I thought about that before when I posted like being out there on the road and sales, and I call it emptying the clip, like unloading all of your collateral and stuff. And I'm like, I should have maybe waited a few more days before I used a gunshot reference here in the Hilton Head area. But I'm it really is like it's a constant opportunity for ideas and to nurture and develop these crazy combinations, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll take any excuse I can to experiment with something,
right?
And not just for the sake of experimenting, like for the sake of what is this going to taste like, because I don't know. I don't like using recipes. I like to try things, and I get a lot of satisfaction from that I never would have thought would come from just making food, but I've always loved to make food.
Yeah.
And being able to not only make food that I love to make, that uses my brain, that uses, a lot of mental and physical energy.
Yeah.
But then we get to go be in the middle of such a beautiful community and meet these people and talk to them and like actually live in community with people. And it's been such a nice change of pace for me, especially. Yeah. Because in Greensboro, North Carolina, there's not, you have your small community, but that's what you make it. And it just being able to be here and pour into people in a different way, it's really fueling. It's really a lot of inspiration comes from that.
And you kind of said it there, Nick, with nurturing. And that's kind of where this is going to, and what we try to do is just nurture the community around us. Because like you said earlier, food is the universal language.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, what your side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter about anything. When there's food in front of people, it brings them together.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that our bread is able to bring people together, and people set aside their common differences to enjoy something that you make, is something that I think I've been looking for my entire life as far as that fulfillment goes.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Because she served as a paramedic. I was in the military for 6 years, and
thank you for your service.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I've always had that sense of service, and so has she, but being able to serve people in a different way, that's not, I guess, in the norm.
Yeah.
Has been really, really cool.
Yeah.
I need a moment here. I just got to be completely transparent with you guys. I didn't, as with any business, I didn't start out off the bat. I used to post pictures on Instagram, and I used to write captions. Mm-hmm. And I had a long and winding road, and I'm not going to get into that story right now, that put me in this chair talking into this microphone. And something, ever since I started it, something felt right about it. And I'm really thrilled with the direction that it's taken me. And the most exciting part is I don't really know where it can go. Yeah. But I just want to tell you guys that I need to try to think of the best way to say this, not necessarily focused on eloquence, but without, rambling on like I tend to do. While you were explaining that, each of you, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, because I've said before that my favorite part of what I have come to be doing with this media endeavor, specifically with the podcast, is that my favorite part is hearing people's stories. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a chef, or whether it's a food and beverage employee, or whatever, a musician, like I said, I've spoken to, or in this particular case, small business owners that are creating a product that is, again, something that people can relate to and something that people are really passionate about. And I'm not going to say that that this never occurred to me, because I don't know if you guys have one. I have one hanging up in my living room downstairs from one of the shops in town, and it says Bluffton is a state of mind. And I come from New Jersey. And again, I've been coming to Hilton Head since I was 10 years old, give or take. And let's just say we haven't had a lot of let's call it visitors. I mean, I sit in a bonus room here in a home that I'm fortunate to have. You know, I can accommodate my entire nuclear family if needed, and it's been needed on a few times. You know, my parents, my brother, my sister, a dog, a cat. You know, I'm grateful to be able to accommodate family and visitors and so on and so forth. It hasn't exactly been a revolving door. And I think that there's a lot of people who misunderstand, and I don't want to disparage other areas that I would, if we were sitting there having a cocktail and having a casual conversation, I'll say, oh, they think it's like this or that. I'm not gonna throw another resort area under the bus, but there really is truly, not to sound sappy, but there is truly something special about this place. And if you remember, just not just a few minutes ago, I was talking about how when I got down here, all of a sudden it wasn't about the restaurants, just the restaurants. There was food trucks, and there was this, and there was that. And Lindsay, you brought up a really good point, and I don't know if I ever thought about it from this perspective. Is that this type of business? Because, like you said, you were in Greensboro. I've been to Greensboro. I actually looked at you for Greensboro. My cousin's wife, that he used to drive down there to visit her. I don't know however many hours that was from North Jersey, and now they're married and they have 4 kids and whatever. So I've been there. I've been in New Jersey for a long time. I've been in, yes, it was college, but I've been in Boston for a few years. I've never really lived anywhere else, but that is really, really fascinating to me if you think about it from the perspective of the way this, like you called it, this community is structured, and the fact that we're out and about, and the fact that we have farms and things like that all around us, despite the fact that this is a predominantly, more so Hilton Head, a vacation, tourist destination, but it really is uniquely structured. And I'm not just talking about like the layout of the town, but the community is legitimately structured to be conducive to support businesses like yours. And I never thought about it from that particular angle. And then Sean, you are thinking about, and something that was extremely powerful to me, that spoke to me, because I've been having a lot of these moments, like I said, specifically over the last 6 months, where I feel like there were a lot of things that I was doing that I had no idea were going to put me in the situation that I am now professionally. And when I say professionally, there's a couple levels to that. There's some that people know about. There's some that nobody knows about that I'm working on that may or may not come to fruition. That being said, I am on that wavelength where I'm also taking opportunities throughout my day and my week to acknowledge just how grateful I am to be put in a position where I am able to interact with, like I said, chefs and kitchen employees and front of the house people, and again, private chefs and bakers, and like it's really like, again, I'm trying. It's when it's difficult for me to find words of all people. Like you guys kind of touched, you touched like a really sensitive thing, which is not just my affinity for this area that a lot of people don't really fully understand, and also, like you said, Sean, with that connection where you're not just selling a product, and again, we all need our utilities, and we need all of the things that provide us with the services that allow us to live our lives and to take care of, if you have children, or if in my case, like the pets, whether it's the vet and the daycare and this and that, we all need that stuff. But when you have the opportunity to devote your time and your energy into, like I said, a labor of love, and it allows you to make a connection to people through something like food. It really is. And again, maybe I didn't do such a great job of keeping that succinct, but this is a moment where I'm sitting here saying to myself, I'm truly blessed to be able to sit in this chair and to have conversations with people like yourselves, because those are two things that I'm not saying I never thought about in some way, shape, or form, but not to the degree and the specificity that you guys just put that. I really like, kudos to you both because you just really connected with me on a much more meaningful level than me just being a customer and a fan and advocate of your business.
And that's really been one of the most unexpected things about this. I mean, I never expected anything to come from it. When I started making my sourdough, it's just for us, and it was more of a challenge to see if I could make puff pastry sourdough or if I could do whatever. And then as I would take it to work with me, it just became like people wanted it. And so when I started to sell it, it was like, oh, this is a great way for me to not have to go work for somebody else anymore, and be able to work at home, work for ourselves, do what we want to do. And then like from there, it turned into less about the bread and more about the act of feeding people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when we first started, it was like, all right, we got to make as much as we can. What flavor is going to sell the best? It's always, the simple stuff or more common things. And that just, I like doing that. I'm like giving people what they want, but I also like presenting things in a different way.
Right.
And being able to do that with our community. Like a few weeks ago, I made the smoked jalapeno and cheddar loaf with LaDonna's jalapenos. And that one was like, we had people asking for it today. They were mad at us for not having it. So and we did that one for a couple weeks, but just, the creativity to be able to do that. And then the conversations that come with the people that, are interested in bread. They're like, oh, hey, this is really cool. How'd you, do this or whatever? And the kind of conversations that we've been able to have and the people we've been able to meet has been amazing. I mean, like some of these conversations, some people that just find their way to us, it's like, if, I can't imagine not being here. But like you said, the road that brought us here was interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I want to get into, because we're coming up on a little past the half hour, and I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know you got things to do. You're running a business after all. I can't believe tomorrow's Thursday already. This week already, this holiday week has already been a doozy for me. There are several things that I'm writing down here that I want to get to, and a couple of them I mentioned already. So let's get to. I have a question for each of you. What is from each of your perspectives, and you've been in business for now, let's call it 14 months or so, right? Yeah. What are your personal favorites out of and we're going to get to the catalog as well. I'm going to come back to that, and we're going to do a deep dive into that as well. We'll be efficient, but what are each of your favorites of what you have come up with, either recently or, because you said really over the past year, yes, seasonally and based on certain ingredients, there have been some things, but you've had kind of this access, or at least in your mind, this entire suite of offerings that you want to have. What have been your favorites or things that stand out to you where you guys were like, holy shit, this is really good?
Okay,
I'm sorry. I curse when I start to get emotional and excited.
Hey, it's emotion. It's fine.
Yeah, I think YouTube's okay with it as long as I'm not going overboard.
Right. So my favorite one I actually made over winter, and I called it the Frostbite
Toffee Espresso.
Frostbite Toffee Espresso.
Yeah.
So that one, was another one that I wasn't planning to make. But we started a partnership with a coffee shop on the island, Hilton Head Coffee Roasters.
Okay.
So we do drops at their location, and
is that the one where they just open a second location?
Yes.
Yeah. You literally just alley-oop that one to me. Okay.
If you've never been there, go. It's super cute.
I saw a couple photos. I do want to check. I need to go check that out. And if I don't get to it this week, I'll definitely get to it next week.
Yeah, and it's a little hidden, so it's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
But she had
both on the island, right?
Yes, They're both on the island. Her first one is on the north end on
Cardinal, I think.
and then that one
Okay.
on they just opened that second
Got
one.
it.
But they had a special blend for Christmas, and they were doing, I think it was like Santa's Sleigh or something like that was their coffee blend that they had. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get some of this. So we brought it home, and the one thing led to another, and I had a double chocolate espresso loaf that I was making with coffee, cocoa powder, chocolate chips, all the things.
Yeah.
And one thing, like, I like to make things from memory, from childhood, that give me feelings. So my mom loved toffee. My mom loved chocolate, all those warm flavors. And so as I was kind of putting it together, I realized I was making what my mom would have liked. And I lost her when I was 19. So even still, it's a way for me to kind of connect with her without, having a physical relationship. Like I knew she would have loved it. And the way that one took off when I posted just the little story, like, hey, I did this one. It's, I think my mom would have liked it. It's pretty good. And the way people received it was just really cool. So anything with a story, I love it.
I love stories. That's why honestly, I'm not trying to beat the hell out of the drum, but that's why you see I'm surrounded by all of this world of, and sports do a pretty good job too. I'm not a big soccer guy, but like I love the stories. Just like I said, when I'm interviewing people, I love the stories. When I'm watching a show, I love long-term storytelling. I'm a big CM Punk fan, and the last time I saw him on my TV before Monday, he jumped out of the ring, and before he jumped out of the ring, he said, "I'm going to wait around for an opportunity to fall into my lap." And guess what? Last night or the other night, an opportunity fell into his lap in his hometown of Chicago. That's a story. That literally is a story that we waited for. And sometimes, if we're lucky, the stories go on for years and years and seemingly never end. I had a rice ball last night at the I always bring it back, don't worry. I had a rice ball last night at Capri Pizza on Hilton Head, which is open officially today. They're about halfway through, a little past halfway through their night of service. They were 3 till 9 tonight down by Coligny in the space that was formerly occupied by Rockfish. Now, I'm an Italian. I had an arancini, a rice ball last night. It was the best rice ball that I've had since before I moved down here. That's number one. And that's not a slight to anybody else, but it was absolutely perfect. And when I cut it open, Lindsay, I saw ground beef and peas. And you might as well strap me in. I watched this movie 65 last night where they go back and like there's dinosaurs and they have to escape. It's the guy Adam Driver and a young girl. They get in a spaceship and they're just at the end. It's like this thing shoots off into space. That's what it did to me. It put me in a pod and shot me back to sometime in the mid to late 80s, maybe 90s. Who the heck knows? When my grandmother was making rice balls on the stove, which, just like I believe, to the best of my recollection, my mom will probably yell at me if I'm screwing this up. She was very particular about that, like she was with her Zeppelis, which she would do the Zeppelis as an appetizer at Christmas Eve time without sugar, just a long Zeppeli that would have an anchovy inside it to give like a little bit of a saltiness. And it kind of breaks apart in there. And with each bite, you get a little bit of the saltiness from the Zeppeli. And again, then you just take the ones that don't have anchovies in them and you throw them in the bag with the powdered sugar, just like you would get at any Italian carnival in northern New Jersey. But that ground beef and peas and a little dab of sauce in the middle, that little treat, that surprise inside of that rice ball brought me back to, that's how my grandmother made them. And again, it had to be a gas stove, not an electric stove. She refused to even try to make them with an so when it inspires memories and things like that, that's a big deal. Okay, so that's your, repeat it again for the audience. That was your, what was it again?
Frostbite Toffee Espresso Loaf.
Frostbite Toffee Espresso Loaf. I can't even wrap my head around that one. I know that as soon as my wife listens to this or I tell her about it, she's going to want it too. Sean, how about you? What was your favorite?
So for me, I have two.
Okay.
Probably the smoked jalapeno and cheddar for savory.
Right.
That one is just because we didn't want to do just a regular jalapeno cheddar. That's so popular. So it was actually her idea, and I love smoking meat and stuff like that. So she was like, "Well, if you smoke the jalapenos?" Let's do it. So we did it, and it turned out to be great. But the second one, which will be coming back in the fall, is a apple praline Loaf.
Okay.
And so I'm not a big apple guy.
Yeah.
Just like raw apples. Right. If you cut it up, cook it, and put it in a pastry, I'm there for it. Okay. So the apple praline loaf, it's got little pieces of apple in it, and got little praline pieces. And man, if you like apple fritters, that thing will that'll scratch out the itch.
Okay. You just reined yourself in. You were going to curse right there. I felt it coming on. LaDonna just commented, just ate the other half of the strawberry shortcake. Wow, so amazing. So we have a live indulgence during the podcast here. Before we get on to the next thing, Lindsay, I want to volley it back to you. Did you have any others that you wanted to mention while we're in this favorites little section?
Yeah, one that I've was kind of more of an experiment for me. It's called the Sea Island Picnic Loaf, and it was one of the first flavors that I really committed to, and was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. If nobody likes it, whatever.
Yeah.
So, being where we are, naturally it has to be Lowcountry boil themed. So Old Bay, fresh dill, lemon zest, salt, fresh cracked pepper in a loaf, and then you slice it and have it with a tomato sandwich or with your crab boil or whatever. It's really good. It's a different flavor than you would expect. And we have some people that, like, when they know it's time for it to come back, they're like, give me 2.
Run through those ingredients again.
Old Bay seasoning, which we don't really use the name brand. We use a local
that's okay.
seasoning woman. So yeah, exactly. Savory Spices is who we use. She does a Lowcountry.
Okay.
And then so the Old Bay seasoning, cracked black pepper,
right,
lemon zest, and fresh dill.
That is a wild combination.
Yeah.
And I can see how it could probably work out pretty well. And like you said, as an accompaniment to, like you said, a Lowcountry boil, or even like you said, that's the thing about these products, that like they're versatile, where you can come up with ideas like so Joss made the chicken cutlets. My wife, I think she must have had some for lunch today, because I think there's one left in there. And then she took the eggplant that LaDonna gave us. So we had the chicken cutlets with the tomatoes, and I threw some calamatas and some Newman's Own balsamic and honey. That was, like I said, that was all, no lettuce or anything. It was just, and scamozzarella, which I think is a made up word, is basically the Belgioso version of a scamorza, which is like the long log, and it's more of, I would say, kind of like more of a smoked mozzarella, I guess you would say, than like a regular standard fresh mozzarella. That was incredible. And then she took the eggplant and she made breaded eggplant cutlets. So, and then like I said, I ended up going to the soft opening for Capri Pizza. So I ate a couple things there. I posted about them, but so I didn't end up needing dinner, but I brought home a pomodori caprese for her so she could have that with the eggplant, with the breaded eggplant cutlets that she had made, and a little balsamic or whatever she did. And that was great. And I'm probably still going to do it. But like I said, I still have about a half or 3/4 a loaf that I got late last week of this Kalamata sourdough. And I was thinking, what if I took, whether or not I still have another chicken cutlet, but even if it's the eggplant cutlets that she used, and throw in either, a tomato or a roasted pepper on that Kalamata bread with a little, olive oil. Like I go through these things and I'm like MacGyver when it comes to things that are in the refrigerator that I can throw together. Some might say it's a stoner, meal or type of thing, just from a creativity perspective, but I'm very resourceful. I can pull things together. Like my go-to is, if I don't really have a lot on hand, if I got enough tomato sauce and shredded cheese, mozzarella preferably, and some English muffins, I'll throw together a nasty batch of pizza muffins.
Yes.
And if I have, God forbid, I had these little salami slices one day, I threw them on top of there, caramelized some onions. I can get crazy when it comes. I would probably be good. I'm not a chef, but I might be good. And if they had like an amateur version of where they give you the box of random shit, or you have to go in and grab whatever you grab, I think I would be pretty good at that, because I throw together some pretty, specifically when it comes to sandwiches. I couldn't find it for some reason, but I could have sworn I posted one about a month ago that was using your guys' bread on one of my breakfast sandwiches. And sometimes I'll have an extra slap sauce from Slap Truck, and I'll throw that on there. If maybe I have some Taylor ham, or maybe I have something left over from one of the various meals that I've done, and I'll throw together some pretty crazy, like, empty the fridge sandwiches.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't really need much though. Sometimes you just need a good cheese, maybe some sort of, it's nice to have some sort of vegetable, whether it's a cucumber or something, to give it a little bit of kind of texture or whatnot inside of there. I'm making myself so hungry right now.
I know.
Dude, you're making me so hungry right now.
Yeah, seriously. We're gonna have to get our eat on after this show is over. Let's bring it on to, since we had LaDonna jump in. Excuse me. Let's bring it into the venues. So I want to pull this back up. We talked about Okatee River Farms. This was you guys this morning, and it literally says this was 8 hours ago, 12:15 p.m., and we're all sold out. Can't wait for next week. So you guys were literally barely 2 hours before you sold just about everything that you see on this table. Is that you there, Sean, trying to stay cool in this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a good job. At least you're in the shade. I could not believe how that line went for as strong as it did last week for literally 2+ hours. So you guys brought a lot of product. You blew through all that. It's good that it's got the website on there, and we'll pull that back up on your main Facebook page before I let you go. And of course, we had Southern Gray's Farm there selling chicken and things like that as well, right? Let's talk about what are some of the other things that you have been doing in terms of venues and where people are able to find your product.
So the constant thing that we've been doing that works for us is we do pre-orders with pickup locations throughout the Lowcountry. So like you said, when we first got started, it was more of a porch pickup, or we live down a dirt road, so we were meeting people at the gas station down here by the end of the road when we first started.
Okatee.
And that was Okatee, right outside of Kalawasi.
Sure.
And that was fine. It worked. People that wanted their bread got it, and it kind of got to where it felt like a little sketchy, like, what are we doing in the parking lot here?
Yeah. That reminds me of Selma up at New Leaf Produce on St. Helena. She would describe to me of when she would go and meet halfway the person from Charleston to get certain of her greens. She felt like she was conducting a drug deal. Like, if anybody was watching from like a different perspective, they would see two people meet up, one hand this, one this, whereas she's literally, they're handing her like, parsley or something like that. So not the greens that would get you in trouble, but that's what she said. It felt like a drug deal, literally at gas stations, like midway between here and Charleston. I got a good chuckle out of that.
You got to do what you got to do. And I'm grateful for when we were doing that, because not only were we doing it at the gas station, we would meet up in the parking lot at Lowcountry Fresh for Bluffton people. And in Beaufort, we would meet in the Publix parking lot, Robert Smalls.
Yeah.
And finally, by what I can only describe as a miracle, a lady that we were going to church with, she owns Cassandra's Kitchen, and we, kind of started talking, and that became our first drop zone. So she, her kitchen store is great, super cute. And, between our customers, when I do a drop, they pick up their order and select it for Cassandra's Kitchen location, whatever. So you can go in and pick it up there. And not only do you get to support my business, but then you're in another small business that is grateful that you're there. Even if you're just picking up bread, they're there now. So we've been doing that. And I think that's really when the community aspect really started kicking in for us, like realizing that not only the community, but the small business community around us, like, we support each other. We have to. I mean, there's no reason that we have to be cutthroat all the time. It's not always about sales. And I think that's what has been such a blessing. And like now, like I said, with Hilton Head, we've got 2 places on Hilton Head. We've got Cassandra's Kitchen, and in Beaufort we go to Marshview Mercantile. So like, there's places that we just have really been blessed to meet and be able to work with.
You're putting people in a situation where they have opportunities to obtain different products in the same place and support multiple businesses at once. You said something that I wanted to draw another example to as a comparison. Tomorrow's Thursday, Bluffton Farmers Market Day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was there last week, and I'm usually there most Thursdays. I try to get there. Last week, I was able to grateful that I was able to spend some time with Sonny and Elena from Two Birds Greek Street Food, and then also Chelsea and the gang over with Calabogie Catering. I ate something that was like basically a cinnamon roll that was made of pork belly. It was one of the most unbelievable things I've ever eaten. I also got one of those crazy jalapenos wrapped in bacon, stuffed with pork and cheese, and blah blah blah. Ridiculous. But between I think it's I want to say Dave and Amy and Brent, like they are putting out some incredible stuff. But I say all that to say they moved when they wanted people off the field. They moved Sonny and Elena over to the Hayward house, and it really is a nice spot. There's some shade there. There's seating. There's ample seating. There's the stage where there's usually going to be a performer, and there's room. There's space there. I mean, they had lines at some point. I called the school pizza line where it was it was all the way across Martin Family Park, but something that, like. They didn't seem like they were that busy last week. And my thought is you need to move them back to where they were. And yes, I still feel that way. But again, they're going to try to make it work in the new spot. We just had to increase awareness. And that's one of the things that I tried to do. I did a video there, I think 2 weeks ago, where I said, and, it was also, in the still in the throes of this sandwich promotion, and they did their Euro for it. But what I wasn't thinking of was not only is it the visibility of having them on that inner field at Martin Park, where now they're letting people back on the grass again after whatever it was that they were doing. But what I didn't think of was someone like my friend Anna, who has Toast and Host Catering and is making mocktails for people. And now if someone goes to the farmer's market and they go over to Sonny and Elena all the way in the back at the Hayward house to get their Euro, they might not even see. I mean, I'll be honest, last week I didn't have time to walk all the way over because I had things I had to do. I didn't have time, and it was hot, to walk over from one side to the other. So what I wasn't thinking of was it's actually other vendors that would prefer to have them back on the inside part of the grass. Because think about it, when you're online waiting for your Two Birds Greek Street Food, you're like, oh, we should get some pickles before we leave, and oh, we should get a mocktail from Anna, and that's the same concept. Essentially, you're putting people in an environment, for lack of a better term, a target rich environment, where it's like, okay, I can get my sourdough here, and I can also get something from Cassandra's Kitchen. And we've had a couple of revelations here as we're approaching probably an hour or so. That's really fascinating. So you have those places. Before we move on to the next thing, which is, again, back to this spectacular product, before we move on to that, I also want to mention, and I don't want to talk at a school because I don't want to betray anyone's confidence or anything like that. Let's just say that, because I know this is happening also, when you talk about the places that your product is being offered, and I know that there's a couple of both your company and other companies that have formed strategic partnerships with certain places. But what's amazing about it is that you guys, specifically you guys, and yes, there are a couple others that have a really nice product as well. I heard something that I couldn't almost wrap my head around, and it was owner of an establishment who shall remain nameless, who was actually considering the concept of stocking one of these type of products in his store that also happens to make that type of product, generally the general category. But it was almost as if to say, like, they're putting out specific to that item, they're actually putting out a better product than we are currently able to put out here. So we're going to continue selling 37 other things, but guess what? It might just be easier for us to get our sourdough boules or whatever specific items we're talking about from a company like you guys. Am I off with that sort of, like, it's not an assumption, because he kind of alluded to it, but is that a real thing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's pretty common, and that when we started, that kind of was one of the things that's something you can rely on, because with markets, it's not always like I'm going to sell out, and we're going to make however much we need for the week. So having that with like wholesale deals is what we call them. That's guaranteed money basically, and it's the same thing we do every month. We know how to do it, and there it is. And it depends, like you said, on how much you can make, how you can make it, and like we are really particular about the way we make our sourdough, and we don't want to cut corners and make it quickly or shortcut and be able to sell it cheaper for that reason. Because like I said earlier, it's not about sales. It is, but it's not about how much money are we going to make. It's about making food that I want to eat, food that I want to feed my family, and taking that to the community and being able to stand behind it and say, I am really proud of this, because not only is my personality in here, but when I use produce or when we drop it at some other business, like, you're not just enjoying us, you're getting to enjoy other parts of the community too.
Right. It also could, and people don't think about this sometimes because they're removed from the industry, and I don't expect them to, but like this could be a sourcing thing too. It's like, if we're going to offer meats and we're going to offer, I hear noise coming from the background. If we're going to, I don't know, why am I hearing myself? Sorry about that. If we're going to offer A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever it is, it might be easier from us from a cost perspective, from a supplying perspective, to just get that item from a company like yours. There could be various reasons for it, is essentially what I'm getting at. So that to me is, and that again, the word I think of is opportunity, because now you have various different conduits via which you can sell your product, and it benefits you guys, obviously, and it also benefits the store. For, again, maybe they don't want to employ a baker in addition to a chef and a sous chef and this and that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For some reason, I'm getting like a little bit of an echo, but I'm not going to let it. And then I'm not going to keep you guys that much longer. But I want to jump back to, because I know, Sean, specifically, you had said that you had stuff that you wanted to talk about. I want to jump back to the suite of products. So let me bring this back up on here. We have this is the Facebook page, and right on there, guys, if you go to the Facebook page, you can pull up this hot plate. And again, this is if they were having a drop. This is where you would find the stuff if they were doing one of those drops. But then also, I want to talk about these various lines and things, and I can bring up photos off of here as needed. But what are some of the products at this particular time, as we're right past July 4th, heading into full on into July and August? What are some of the items that you guys want to highlight at this particular time?
Our burger buns are really great right now. They're a butter-based sourdough, so they're nice and soft, but they're still sourdough. So those have been really good, especially with the 4th. And then I just started doing English muffins. I finally got my recipe the way I wanted it. And so like the cheddar chive ones you had today, that one was a last minute like flavor decision. So who knows what kind of flavor of English muffins we're gonna have next week.
Are these the English muffins?
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are our so those are the first ones we did. Those are I call them whole grain or heritage grain, because they've got a little bit of einkorn in them. So those are the first ones we did. Those are more of our original, I'd say.
They look robust.
Yeah, it's been great. And then our butter bread, just a sandwich loaf. Especially with it being tomato season.
Are these the muffins again?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yep, those are English muffins too.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Go back.
No, you're good. The butter bread that we do though is like a traditional white bread. I mean, it's just my sourdough with butter in it, but it's perfect for a tomato sandwich, especially this time of year, it's nice and soft, nice and hearty. It's good.
And this in that boule format, like the round bread?
No, it's actually in a loaf. We do it in a loaf.
Okay.
Pan, so
like a rectangular loaf kind of.
Yep. It's like, it looks like a traditional like white bread, butter bread sandwich that you would get nice and sliceable.
This?
That's it.
Okay. I'm doing pretty well here, guys, on the fly now.
Yeah, you are.
I might be a professional. What are these?
That was the toast, or that was the caramelized onion and sesame loaf when we first tried it. Yeah, the black sesame on the outside. The way it smells when they bake.
Oh man,
they're good. They're good.
So, what are some of the other ones that people should be keeping an eye out for as we head from, summer here into fall? I see one here that's got freaking pickles in it.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yes, that one is one of my favorite ones to make, and it's so funny because people either are really excited to see a dill pickle loaf, or they're like, no, I don't. No, thank you.
This is where Campfire Tyler is going to turn the podcast off.
Do you know how many people have commented him? I've never met him before. But every time I post something about the dill pickle, I get a Campfire Tyler comment.
He is a pickle hater. Is this it here again? This is the outside view of it.
Yep,
those
that's
look like
it.
Pickles to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
And we've got to use the Grillos.
Gotcha. I love Tyler, but I'll fight him to the death about pickles. I'm on the level. I've said this for a very long time. I could live on olives. I could live on cheese, mushrooms. Anything pickled really is right up my alley.
Yeah.
Anything else that you are going to be coming out with or have come out with that you want people to keep an eye out for?
So I will say this, as far as the cookies go, we're kind of in this phase where she's experimenting with cookies a little bit more. So like the strawberry shortcake cookies, like you said earlier, just looking in the pantry, throwing something together on the fly.
That was a last minute decision.
Yeah,
last night.
Those strawberry shortcake cookies were a last minute thing. And probably some of the best cookies she's ever made. So just stay tuned. We're going to try to have a different cookie every week when we go to Oakity River. And just a different fun flavor to try next. So
yeah, I like doing my experimenting at a pop-up or something. So you never know what you're going to find when we pop up at the farm. It really just depends. Like like you said, just emptying the fridge. It's where a lot of the recipes come from. What do we have? What can I make?
A strawberry shortcake. I got the wrong side of the bag here, so they can't see through the little window. But man, that was a banger. Again, just one. I just had one bite that was enough to be a mouthful of it, and I had the whole the people that wasn't super as busy as it was last week, but I think everybody must have been looking over like, man, this guy's loud about his cookie. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's your fault. I blame you for it.
I mean, I'll take the fall for that one.
All right, cool. So before we get to my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts, this has been awesome top to bottom, but I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. It's almost 4:03. So number one, I want to extend an invitation to, because I think we need to do a bit of a dive on maybe seeing not necessarily behind the scenes, but what I would like to do is maybe do something where we can hang out in person, where we can talk. And I don't want you to give away any of your secrets, if you will, but I think it would be very, like you said, you have these conversations with people where they want to learn about stuff like this. So what you would be willing to reveal, if you will, I think that would be fun for kind of like us hanging out together and throw on some mics and actually, show the people, if you will, what this labor of love, or at least what a part of this labor of love.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds
Wouldn't it be fun?
Yeah. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not about, I teach sourdough classes here and there. in the community. And I always give the class starter, my own starter to take home. And I'm like, email me if you have any questions, because I don't care how many people we have baking sourdough, there's never enough. So I will share everything I know about it, because I think it's fun, and I think it's good for people not only to eat, but to make too.
I love that. And we'll get RJ out and we'll make it look nice, just like we're going to be doing. Okatee River Farm should be dropping, if not by the end of the week, definitely at some point over the weekend or early next week, the latest, the conversation that we had with LaDonna. So yeah, let's get that on the calendar sometime soon as well.
Sure.
There's two things that I want to talk about before I let you guys go. This is pretty traditional, this part of it, because we like talking about food. What would you guys say is something that you have either really enjoyed recently, something that you are looking forward to enjoying, or just in general? And it could be recent, doesn't even have to be, or it could be one of your go-to, like when we want to go out and get, I'm giving you a very wide lane to sort of spotlight anything in particular, any sort of category that you want of something that you've enjoyed that you would like to mention during the show.
I know exactly where I'm going, so you just wait a second.
Okay.
Oyster season is coming up. Oyster season is my favorite season here in the Lowcountry. I also grew up coming here. My family was raised here, so I cannot wait for oyster season. That was also one of the reasons I made the Old Bay loaf, because oyster roast, cold winter evening, and I can't wait. We like to get ours from the Sea Eagle Market in St. Helena, Bluffton area.
I love taking a ride over to St. Helena. I got to get to that Sea Eagle Market. I tried finding it one day, but I was actually near where the actual marina thing is, as opposed to the actual market. And my car bottomed out in one of those like in St. Helena on the side of the road where it's like there's kind of like these gullies. And I was like, oh man, this is not where I want to break down. No disrespect to the beautiful people of St. Helena Island, but that is a hike and a half. I drive every bit of an hour to get to Beto's Burgers to enjoy, Brian and Melissa and their gang. They smoking all kinds. Speaking of smoking, guys, they're smoking all kinds of stuff over at Beto's on the weekends.
Ooh, we'll have to try that. We actually went out to St. Helena a couple weeks ago.
That's mine.
Okay.
That's mine. I want to highlight another small business.
Okay.
They call Another Slice, right?
Another Slice.
It's pizza and barbecue on your way out to Hunting Island.
Right beside Beto's. Or not beside, but in the same vicinity.
And man, they had this barbecue pizza.
How do I not know? Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's on the left-hand side, right before you go over that long span.
It looks like an RV out there.
Yeah, right before Shrimp Shack, I want to say.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, somewhere around in there, yeah.
So good. And the crust on their pizza, I know you said you're from Jersey, but I like a thin New York style pizza. It's good. It's good. I would try it.
I was just out in Beaufort today. I guess I got to get back out to St. Helena really.
I guess so.
Really soon.
Dude, I'm telling you I'm looking forward to the next time we go out there.
Okay. Well, I got to write that down. Say it again. What's it called?
Another Slice.
Another Slice. Yeah, the big news over in Beaufort is the unfortunate announcement that Scratch Italian Kitchen is going to be closing.
I just saw that.
Yeah, and that Piace Pizza is going to be relocating from Ladies Island over into that that former Fat Patty's Beaufort location. I'm bummed because they do a really nice job at Scratch, and I've really been meaning to get out there to try some of the really cool stuff that they've been putting out. We still have a couple more weeks to get there, but the family just kind of decided to go into a different chapter and whatnot. So okay, anything else food-wise that you guys have been thinking about lately or have enjoyed before we move on to the last part?
Just tomatoes.
Tomatoes. I'll tell you, LaDonna had some damn good, 6 different kinds, but the heirloom specifically, I had one in my hand that was massive. And I love tomatoes. I had a great caprese, pomodori caprese, and Capri pizza yesterday with imported prosciutto and just really delightful fresh mozzarella, very like sort of silky fresh mozzarella with a little bit of balsamic drizzled on it. Was awesome. This is the last part, and then I'll let you guys get back to your Wednesday evening. What is next? I always like to kind of bring it full circle. I know you guys have a lot of plans. I know we've talked about a couple of the things that you're going to be featuring. How do you see the next few months? What do you see in your near future for the Sour Loaf Co. as we head, like I said, through the rest of this summer season into the fall of 2026 here?
Well, I know that for the summer season, we're planning on doing Oakity Farm setup twice a week now. So we're planning on being there Monday and Wednesday.
Okay.
Pre-orders will probably just stay Wednesday for there.
Yeah.
But right now, I feel like the last few months we've been in that season of what is next. And you know, and you think you know what's coming next, and then it changes up on you or whatever. And so I think we're kind of we've been through that. We thought it was this, but now it's not, a few times. So I think we're really just looking to see what happens. Like from the beginning, we didn't know what this was going to look like. So we're still just trusting God with it and letting him lead. And, you know, I make what I feel like I want to make, and it sells, and it's such a blessing. So in the future, all I can say is I'm going to have some flavors, and I don't know what they're going to be yet.
Well, just like you said, the market's going to tell you that, the local produce and products are going to tell you that, and you're going to continue, just like I and anyone that's creating something, you're going to continue to be inspired by the stories and the memories that you have with your family and your friends and things like that. And that's what makes this an art and really makes it, like you said, so much fun. I think you're also in it, and I'm not trying to, like, you know, give you any business advice of the sort, but I from my perspective, I wouldn't say I'm overly analytical, but I am very, like, sort of structure minded. And I definitely, my wife will tell you this more than anyone, I have a bit of an OCD. So when I think about your operation and what you've been telling me, if it was mine, I would think to myself, we've arrived at a pretty, even though, like I said, you never really know where it's the direction that's going to take you in. You have now arrived at, just based on what you just told me, that's a pretty good structure. For right now, that's a pretty good plan. You have Mondays and Wednesdays at Oakity River Farms. One of those days is a pre-order date. The other one is not. You have the location in Beaufort that you spoke about. You have the location here in the Bluffton side of things that you spoke about. So it's kind of, it's not, I would say, like, to use a term like plug and play, but you've arrived at a pattern, a formula that right at this particular moment is you're finding success with.
Yeah.
So that isn't to say that there won't be changes coming down the pike, but you guys have got to feel pretty good about the fact that you're kind of in this groove right now, where you have a couple of reliable locations and a couple of reliable collaboration / partnerships where it's like, okay, now we just got to focus on what are we selling, what sells better or worse than this or that. And the challenge at this point is just keeping up with the demand that seems to continue to increase. If it's scalable, which you guys have clearly shown that it is, that's really the only, not to make it sound simple, but really that is the only challenge that you need to focus on, is how do we keep up with this? Does that make sense?
No, that's exactly where we're at right now. Anyways, I mean, everything we're doing currently is still out of our residential oven. So definitely our next step is going to be another oven, maybe a mixer to help us out with other stuff. But for the most part, like we like doing everything by hand. From the time we mix the dough, it's by hand, and then stretch and folds and all that. And so scaling will come with equipment before we think about, a brick and mortar. Because that's always what people ask is like, when are you going to open a bakery? And like, I'm having fun right now.
Well, it's
I
kinda
don't
how
like
we-
a lot of overhead.
Yeah, when it's kind of like how we started the conversation, Sean. You mentioned that you made the decision, and you mentioned the heat, which is, of course, it's very topical based on the weather that we've been dealing with these last couple weeks. Although my wife was in Maine and it was like 100 degrees in New Jersey. They're down back in the 70s now, but last week they were hotter than we were by a good
Wow.
10 degrees or more. So I don't know what the heck's going on with that, but you made a very good point. What could be better than running this business together as a husband and wife out of your home? I don't know about you guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm in sales and I'm in, I'm out and about quite a bit, but I'm never more content. And it's not that I'm antisocial, but I'm 47 years old. My social life consists of going to restaurants with my wife or family and or friends or something like that. But when I'm home, and my brother and I joke about it, when we're not going crazy with what we're doing to keep food on our respective tables, it's why a lot of times we can't relate to my father, because my dad's one of those, you just can't sit still. When I have my opportunity to be idle, and I'm probably a good 5-10 minutes away from it, I'm assume the horizontal position and watch my stories, if you will, and recharge my batteries so that I can do it all over again the next day. We just lost you guys, but I'm sure that's probably just because of the idle screen. It happens. There you are. We almost had did you guys try to end the episode like The Sopranos right there? If you guys would have given me a heads up, I could have queued up some Journey for you. We could have just had you cut right to black. And then it's like, ooh, are we going to come back with the next episode?
Continue.
We're going to go behind the scenes. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I don't want to keep you much longer. This has been an hour and 20 minutes of absolute joy for me.
Oh, wow.
This conversation is, to go back to what I was saying before, not to sound overly dramatic, but these types of conversations are exactly what I love about this endeavor, if you will. So I'm going to give you guys a plug because that's what I do. The Sour Loaf, born and bred, pun intended, it says here on the Facebook page, born and bred in the Lowcountry. I actually had a really cheesy thing that I put on for the description of this show, and I said I called it baked greats, and you'll find out after listening to the podcast why I didn't use the term good, because I mean the reality is, as much as that sounds like a poorly constructed dad joke, it really is great stuff. Fresh local ingredients. That's what is the signature of this. We give you a little bit behind the scenes, and we're going to have them come back so that we can give you more naturally wild sourdough, no fluff, just crust, rising with the tides. Order while it's hot. Again, there are opportunities to do pre-orders from time to time. One of those is one of the days at the Okatee River Farms Farmers Market. You're going to follow them. I can't bring up the Instagram because we're casting live to Instagram right now. That will be gone as soon as we close. Facebook will be here for the next 30 days. And as always, we are evergreen on YouTube for the Indulgent Hour. But you can follow them on Instagram at The Sour Loaf Co. Just like it sounds, THE. Sour Loaf Co. The Facebook page is, you're just going to type in the Sour Loaf into your search box. And again, this is based out of Okatee, South Carolina. But the primer and also sourloafco@gmail.com is the email address. Give them a quick reminder of those two locations that you typically do those drops, if you will, please, Lindsay.
Yeah. So our Beaufort drop is at Marshview Mercantile. It's on Boundary Street. And then in Bluffton, we do Cassandra's Kitchen, and she just moved from the Promenade to Red Cedar.
Over by Lot 9, correct?
Yep. Just directly like next door, I think, from Lot 9.
It's by the Farm Commercial Kitchen there, where a lot of our food truck and Chef Antonio from AMA Private Dining, a lot of them do a lot of their work out of that Farm Commercial Kitchen. It's right next door there.
Yeah.
So she is leaving the storefront. More news on that to come. I promised the audience something that's a little behind schedule. It's about to happen soon in her former location. When the time is appropriate, I will be announcing that, and it should be relatively soon. Anything else that you guys want to mention before I let you get back to your Wednesday evening?
For our pre-orders, we do a menu every week that drops on Saturday. So every Saturday you can take a look at our menu and see what I've decided to make for the week. So we'll drop another one this Saturday, probably around noon or so. And then ordering will be open until Tuesday night.
If I went too fast for you guys, the audience, I'm saying, the move is you're on the Facebook page and you click on under links, you click on this hot plate link, and that's gonna
oh, that's the email.
That was the wrong one, but this is another way. So I just stumbled upon, I'm glad I did, because this is how you can actually join the list. That's option number 1. And then if you click on the first link, which is the hot plate link, that's going to take you to where, but then you can also, another way to get those reminders is to go to that link and just click this, never miss a drop, put in your phone number. So you guys can get your reminders on your cell phones. You guys can get your reminders on your emails, whatever it is that you want to do. Again, that is the Sour Loaf Company. Sean and Lindsay, your last name was again, you guys?
Shockley.
How do you spell that?
Shockley.
That's very easy. Shockley.
Yep.
We have Sean and Lindsay Shockley of the Sour Loaf Company. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you so much for having us. We really enjoyed the conversation. It was great.
Likewise, I had an absolute blast. I am going to come and see you either Monday or Wednesday. I'm going to get my butt out of bed as early as possible so that I can get there before you guys close up shop again like you did today in literally little over 2 hours. Again, go to Okeechobee River Farms, guys. Go to their Facebook page, and you can find out the hours of their farmers market, which this is becoming a more frequent visit for me. Especially after spending that quality time with LaDonna with that on-site visit that we did last week. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. I'm going to go downstairs and watch some wrestling with the dog and the cat, and my wife watches her programs, and the other, usually we have like a kind of like a side-by-side situation. I'm out on the porch and she's in the living. We do watch some things together, but this is Wednesday night for me as my camera decides to crash. I think my camera's tired too from all the heat. My air conditioner is trying to keep up with these temps, but it's I actually decided to give it a break. I turned it down a couple of degrees because I really could kind of feel the cool air coming out, but you can kind of tell that it's laboring. And I appreciate you guys, because like I said, it's hot out there, and to just even to post up for that couple of hours. But that is what we do, and it's what you guys are doing and will continue to do to serve your community. I can't really put into words how meaningful this was for me. It's probably going to sink in a little bit more tonight, but we're not going to have this be the last time that you guys and I are going to talk. We're going to get into some more nitty gritty about the sourdough process the next time that we catch up.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right, folks, that's all for the Indulgent Hour tonight. It's almost the Indulgent Hour and a half tonight, but that's okay because we're having fun. We let it roll. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Stay tuned tomorrow because we may have, like I said, another sandwich coming your way. And we got some exciting stuff coming up. Okeechobee River Farm Spotlight and some other exciting things that we have on the horizon from yours truly and the team over here at the Indulgent Islander. Have a great night, everybody.